When you're poaching eggs without an egg poacher, it can get a little bit messy, and the key to keep the white from going all over the pan in the water is to use a little bit of white vinegar. The vinegar will help the albumin in the egg white to coagulate really quickly, so your egg will stay together and you won't have egg flour soup in your water. I like to use I like to use a lot of vinegar when I do this. I use about a tablespoon, maybe even more, just into the water. And I give it a little stir to just make sure that the vinegar is distributed throughout the water. And I want the water to be, just sort of barely a simmer. You don't want to boil really hard when you're poaching eggs. It's a very delicate thing and you don't want the egg to get too tough. The other important thing is to put the egg into a small bowl or a container instead of cracking it directly into the pan. When you crack it directly into the pan, it kind of falls and goes ploosh. And it can splash you, but it can also sort of break the egg apart. And if you gently tip the egg from another container into the water, it works out a lot better. So I've just used a small bowl, and I'm just going to gently pour the egg in. And then I'm going to use a large spoon to just sort of corral the white a little bit. The vinegar helps a lot, and actually this one's doing really well. It doesn't really need my help that much. But using a spoon to just make sure it doesn't start floating away is also really helpful. Then what I do, if I'm doing several, I would, slip them each individually and then cover it and let them cook, depending on how you like your yolks, from anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes. If you like it pretty runny, less time. And in a minute, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes and my egg is just about ready. Well, it's still a little jiggly. I might leave it for another 30 seconds or so. When you're poaching eggs for a crowd, one neat trick is to have a bowl of ice water on hand, and you can poach several eggs and then drop them directly into the ice water, and that will stop the cooking, and so you won't have overcooked eggs when you have to make more than a pan's worth of eggs. And then you can just simply take the already poached, cooled eggs, slip them back into the warm water for just a second, just to warm, drain it on a paper towel, and then put it on your Eggs Benedict or on a plate with whatever else you're serving. So that's a great tip for when you have to cook poached eggs for a crowd. For me, it's just me right now, so I've just got one little lonely guy in here. And as you can see, the yolk has stayed, the yolk is a little bit soft. You can shake it a little until it's jiggling a little. The white has stayed together really nicely. And actually, I'll just dump it in the ice water really quickly so I can handle it. And then, because we're putting it in and out of water, I like to drain the egg on a paper towel just briefly before I put it on a plate. You don't want all that water on top of your English muffin or anything else. So I just sort of like to pat it dry, and then I can just plop it right onto a plate. My hands are clean, don't worry about it. And as you can see with my fork right here, when I cut into the yolk, it's nice and runny. It runs across the plate. You can see this beautiful golden dippable yolk. Perfect poached eggs. Really simple. Now you know how to do it.